Yes, people.
What's up? We're good. We're here.
Jim Pat back in the house.
Yeah. And our next topic is that Kevin Feige has confirmed that more Spider-Man is already in development at Sony. Obviously, he had to do that because Amy Pascal, a couple of weeks ago when we reported on it, she let the cat out of the bag that they're already planning another trilogy.
Yeah.
So you can't take her anywhere. Anyway. So this comes to us via IndieWire, respectable,
reputable.
Yes.
What up, Indie?
The astonishing 260 million opening of Spider-Man No Way Home amid a pandemic box office can only mean one thing. More Spider-Man movies are on the way.
Pluto!
I love that, man. In a recent New York Times interview via The Hollywood Reporter, Marvel boss Kevin Feige confirmed the comic book titan and Sony are already actively beginning to develop. Now, you noted that they says the comic book titan as in Marvel and Sony are already. So we know that they're re-upping this deal.
Yeah.
Beginning to develop further installments in the franchise now led by Tom Holland. Amy Pascal and I and Disney and Sony are talking about, yes, we are actively beginning to develop where the story heads next, which I only say outright because I don't want fans to go through any separation trauma like what happened after Far From Home, said Feige, referencing the period in 2019 when the pact between Disney and Sony to develop more Spider-Man titles fell through. That will not be occurring this time. Back in 2019, Sony and Marvel were set to part ways after Disney, which acquired Marvel in 2009, asked for a bigger piece of any Spider-Man grosses going forward. But just a month later, the studios were able to reach a dente and get... I've never heard that word before. Yeah. And get another Spider-Man film off the ground with director John Watts and star Tom Holland reprising their roles. Sony was also home to the Spider-Man film starring Maguire and Garfield, which, well, if you've seen No Way Home, you know the rest is history. Whether ongoing development means more Spider-Man standalones or additional appearances by the web slinger in future Sony movies, Feige didn't say. But producer Amy Pascal did provide one clue to the Times as to where Spider-Man could go from here. At the end of the movie we just made, you see Spider-Man make a momentous decision, one that you've never seen him make before. It's a sacrifice, and that gives us a lot to work with for the next film. Earlier in November, Pascal said that No Way Home definitely isn't the end for Spider-Man, and that a new trilogy is potentially in the works. This is not the last movie we are going to make with Marvel. This is, said Pascal, who is also former head of Sony Pictures. We are getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. We're thinking of this as 3 films, and now we're going to go on to the next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies. Yes, Marvel and Sony are going to keep going together as partners. It goes into some other stuff that we need to get into. Yeah, she already let the cat out of the bag with that interview, as we reported on before. So what can Feige do? He has to say, do you know what I mean? She kind of put him between a rock and a hard place, you know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? So he had to pretty much level with everyone and, you know, say that, indirectly that the deal was going to keep going.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Leon?
I think Tom Holland's going to be rich.
Like he isn't already.
No, but you know,
you
one
mean
of those
wealthy.
wealth. He's going to have
to replace
wealth
in terms of like.
Yeah. You know
Iron Man business.
Yeah. Now you're talking. That's wealth.
Yeah.
That's
Iron Man
you can't
money.
get rid of.
Yeah.
You know, even with a drug problem or gambling problem.
Yeah, you can't smoke that. You can't smoke that Tom Holland money. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's great news.
Yeah.
Better for Tom.
Even for us.
Yeah. Even for Ned and the other.
Oh yeah, it's Zendaya.
You know what I mean? Because boy, have we seen Ned in anything else?
That was the first thing I've seen him in.
Right.
Have you seen him in anything else?
I don't watch much TV anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. But he probably has been in other stuff, but
probably American.
Yeah.
Trash TV.
Yeah.
Boy, so yeah. It's all good. What can I say?
Damien, what do you think of this news? Not that it was any surprise, but
No, it wasn't a surprise at all. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, there you go. Tom Holland's set for, not that he wasn't anyway, but he's definitely set for his children's generation going forward. Yeah, I mean, it like Sony and Marvel weren't going to do it another trilogy. Of course they were. There's not been one Spider-Man film that hasn't made less than 800 million. Like even the Amazing Spider-Mans, which weren't, no offense to Garfield, the second one wasn't very good.
Wasn't great.
Still made over 800 million.
That's again, it talks back to what we were talking about with the Spider-Man character.
Side characters, Venom, making 800 million.
Yeah.
As you mentioned before, when we talked about the fact that Sony, like when you enlightened me to the fact that Sony kind of knew what they were getting when they bought Spider-Man at the time, there is no way this train is going to come off the rails. It's going to continue to chug down that track for as long as literally until the train wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And even then they'll repair it mid-travel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't see this going anywhere but, you know, positive for Sony, for Tom Holland, for Marvel. Yeah, so they're going to...
Do you think Morbius is going to make an appearance?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
In one of these?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Because he's a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Morbius and I wouldn't put him past it, Morbius and Venom in one movie.
Yeah.
I won't put it past.
Well, remember we did a story that maybe Venom shows up in Morbius.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll wait and see of that.
Yeah.
I think this story, obviously, this story was no surprise to anyone. If you especially been watching our shows, but I think it's very funny because obviously we've seen Spider-Man No Way Home. We've seen how badly that Marvel like to misdirect people, right? And I think Tom Holland is getting in on the game as well, because if you remember clearly, a few weeks ago, we reported that he said, oh, if I'm playing Spider-Man till I'm 30, I've done something wrong. That's obviously bullshit. Yeah? That's obviously bullshit. I think that was a misdirection, because he didn't want people to know that he is going to be playing him until he's 30 at least. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
how old is he now?
Well, he's 25. If they're doing another trilogy, he's probably going to be playing it till he's 35.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Trilogy, you can knock it out by his 31.
Yeah, could do. Could do.
But he will get 30.
But that was definitely a misdirection. That was definitely the way he was said.
Yeah,
it was definitely a misdirection. Or well, it might not have been, because then he did come back and say, "No, this is not what I actually said."
Yeah.
So
it's
okay,
context.
But do you remember when he said, "Well, this is what I actually meant," and me and you both sat down and said, "That don't make no sense."
Be a bit clearer.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You remember that?
Yeah.
So I personally think it is a bit of a misdirect, right? But with that said, I think this is fantastic news. It just reiterates that Sony and Marvel, listen, this is business at the end of the day, and business is about making as much money as you can, right? And with that being said, Disney and Sony would be absolutely crackers to not re-up this deal and make the silly money that they are making with Spider-Man. It just wouldn't make sense, because yes, Sony could take Spider-Man and make good money. They've done it. They've already shown they can do that. But would they make the kind of money that they're making now? No. Do you know what I mean? Disney, Marvel can leave Spider-Man be and go off and do their own stuff as they've been doing and make plenty of money. They've done that. But would it make sense to just leave money on the table like that? No. Do you know what I mean? They're not idiots.
Not at all.
So obviously it makes sense for them to re-up this deal, and this is what the fans want at the end of the day. I mean, like they said in the article, in 2019, when Disney, greedy guts, started asking for more money, more of a cut, right? Even though it's not their character, right? Right? The deal almost went, because I remember when I spoke to you about that, didn't I? The deal almost went, and I was like, what the hell, man? Why break up a winning team? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Was Chetmake in charge at that point?
No, he wasn't actually. He wasn't. But if Chapek was in charge, I bet you that deal would have been done. Because Iger was still in charge by then. He managed to smooth it over, and they made a new deal. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, that's business. You are supposed to ask. If you see your partners are making more money than you expected, then, yeah, that is business for you to ask for a bigger slice of the pie. And then you negotiate. It's business. Do you know what I mean?
Standard.
So I don't see anything wrong with that, but yeah, I mean, this is fantastic news. It's not a surprise, and I can't wait to see the next trilogy. I know you guys can't.
No, can't wait.
So yeah, let's see where this story goes, man. But What do you think about all this? Are you excited for the new trilogy? Are you excited to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man being set for life?
Yeah.
And his children and his children's children set for life? Let us know in the comments down below.